What's up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about the season 2 premiere of Snowpiercer, the series developed by Friedman and Graeme Manson. This is based on the French dystopic novel Le Transperceneige. You might be familiar with the source material if you've seen the 2013 movie adaptation by Bong Joon-ho. In here, he serves as one of the executive producers of the series. Anyway, I'll be talking about full spoilers from season 1 and the season 2 premiere. So if you haven't seen this show yet, I will have to direct you with my season 1 episode 1 review. I'll be putting down the link on the description box below. But before I proceed with my recap/breakdown, why don't you guys show your support to the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing to us for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. Okay, before I give away any spoilers for season 2 episode 1, let me just give away my quick thoughts for the season 1 finale because I haven't really made a follow-up video after that initial review that I did last year, because honestly I was a bit frustrated because of the first half of the season was mostly bogged by its murder detective storyline that kind of drags the pacing. It feels like a rip-off storyline from a CW show, and I don't think that is Snowpiercer is all about. But the latter half of that season really picks up the momentum. It really shows what this Snowpiercer is all about. It's about putting these people together in this heightened reality, and in a way it serves as the microcosm of our society today when it comes to the issues about classism, sexism, all about the power struggles. So the latter half of season 1 really surprised me because it has more stories to tell, and I am so glad that I stuck along for the ride because we have a lot of characters, compelling characters who fall into this moral gray area, and I'm really excited to explore more of their mindset. So yeah, if you've only seen the first few episodes of season 1 and so far you're not liking what you're seeing, please do have the patience to go through all episodes because there is a great payoff by the end of this season. Okay, now let's begin with our recap for season 2 episode 1. Season 2 premiere picks up from the season 1 finale cliffhanger. It is implied that Mr. Wilford, the original owner of the Snowpiercer train, is on board in the second train called the Big Alice. It has now latched itself on the tail of Snowpiercer, so we have these two trains connected, and it seems like there will be a power struggle between Layton, now the de facto leader of the Snowpiercer train, and Mr. Wilford of Big Alice. Season 2 premiere parallels the events of season 1 in a way that there's going to be a skirmish in the middle of an episode. For season 1, we see the tailies fighting against the brakemen as they try to penetrate the middle class. Now, it's kind of poetic to see them fighting together against Big Alice. But before that, they were met with a lot of conditions by Mr. Wilford, delivered by Alexandra, the daughter of Melanie, who we first saw last season with a cameo role. So she orders these bizarre ingredients, which we later on see that is going to be served for Mr. Wilford. So I think Mr. Wilford is trying to gauge their supply to know how well off and well fed they are, because he eventually plans to conquer this whole train. Also, by the end of season 1, Melanie falls off the train and now she finds herself on board with Big Alice, and it's quite noteworthy that she already recognizes the design of the train. She knows some of the personnel inside, and I think her game plan from there is to try influence as much people as she can to fight back against Mr. Wilford, because right now it might seem that Mr. Wilford is a much different totalitarian than Melanie, because Melanie here in season 1, yes, you can classify her as a totalitarian, but she does it in the purpose of maintaining order amongst its passengers. And in here, it might seem like Mr. Wilford is actually in it for more selfish reasons. So right from the get-go, I'm really ruling Mr. Wilford as the villain of this season. And yeah, going back to the subject of Melanie, there is clearly an unresolved mother-daughter relationship here. She definitely has to win over again the heart of Alexandra, who, judging by the end of episode 1, I can't say that she is fully brainwashed by Mr. Wilford because she still takes time to listen to her mother. And also, we have to talk about that snow sample that Melanie took. Obviously, that is not for sentimentality reasons. I think she did that because she wants to analyze that snow, because something tells me that life outside the Snowpiercer train is feasible. So right now, we're not sure where Melanie's head is at, but I won't be surprised if by the end of season 2, we see them opening up to a much larger world. Now, going back to Layton, everyone now on the train knows that his former wife, Zara, is is now pregnant. So Ruth is very much delighted to the news because pregnancy on the train means hope. So she places the couple immediately to first class. This season will be particularly interesting for Layton because they need to put off this experiment thing they called democracy on hold. Right now, they need to extend the martial law because they are apparently at war. So in my head, it might be interesting if they suddenly turn Layton as somewhat of an anti-hero. What if the leadership starts to get into his head because he now has other things to care about, his pregnant ex-wife and his son. When people have something to care about, sometimes they can be selfish with their motivations. I think that is something that we're going to explore this season for the character of Layton. There's a new character, Kevin. We don't really get much about him as of episode 1, but something tells me that this is gonna be a new douche character that we're going to hate. And speaking of douche characters, I actually kind of forgot their names, but let's just settle to the nicknames we have here: Train Psycho and Brakeman Blowy. I think these two are going to be the Joffrey Baratheon of this series. They will definitely flip sides, that's for sure. I can really see it coming. And speaking of flipping, Ruth, I'm still on the fence if she's going to flip or not, but I believe on what she said that her loyalty is to the train and to the passengers. In this administration, however, of Layton, she is not given much voice. So she might find dissatisfaction in there, and who knows, she might flip too. And going back to Mr. Wilford, I think Mr. Wilford has a lot of ace in his pocket. I think Big Alice has some advantages that the Snowpiercer train doesn't have, say for the lab. I'm not entirely sure if I've seen a lab in the Snowpiercer train. Also, there's this cool gel that they used. They applied it on the frostbite of Melanie, and one of the doctors even said that this will work miracles. You will barely see the scar after. So I think that's a very handy tool. So who knows what Big Alice still have. Also, they have this giant beast who seems to be unbothered by the cold. I am definitely looking forward to a one-on-one battle between him and Strong Boy. It's also notable that Wilford and his team can seem to control the temperature, and they will definitely use that to their advantage. And then there's a cute dog named Jupiter. I have a hunch though that this dog will maul someone to death in one of these coming episodes. But yeah, overall, I think this season 2 premiere does a great job in setting up our characters and their possible storylines. I would be definitely guessing the next gameplay of Layton and Wilford. I think Wilford's gameplay is much harder to predict. A couple of keynotes also. I don't think I've seen Miles in this episode. I'm going to be mad if they just write him off. So overall, I'm more excited for the season 2 premiere more than I ever felt back on the season 1 premiere, because I think there will be more complex interaction among the ensemble here. And as a whole, I just love the presence of Sean Bin here. I'm really digging his new look. So as to any theories if he will die, because the actor is quite notorious for having his characters killed, I would have to jump on that train and say that Mr. Wilford might be at best good for 2 or 3 seasons. And that's it for my review slash recap of season 2 premiere of Snowpiercer. Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe to us for weekly content. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, see you on the next one.